Hey everybody, it's a special Wednesday night, the first Wednesday of February, and you're on In Touch with the Miller Boys. I'm waiting on my brother to join us, but in the meantime, we're gonna get going, get rolling. I'll share some information with you guys. But the biggest reason it's a special Wednesday, the first Wednesday in February, this is my birthday. For those of you, I want to thank everybody for the birthday wishes that I've been receiving in text messages and Facebook messages and emails and all of those type of things. And so, thank you, thank you, thank you. A double nickel has never looked or felt so good. So, thank you in advance for all the love that I've received. With that, remember, we always talk about COVID testing. COVID testing continues every Wednesday and Saturday over at the Fresno Fairgrounds and the Chan's parking lot. I believe it's from 9 to 2 or 9 to 3. Doesn't take any reservations or any of those type of things. You just need to show up. They'll snake you through the parking lot there on Chan's. You don't even have to get out of your car, and they're able to do your COVID testing that way. Fresno County residents that are over the age of 65 are actually eligible to do your vaccinations. It does require that you schedule an appointment to come in. You can look at the Fresno County Health Department to be able to register for an appointment. There is the vaccines that they're using now is the 2 vaccines where you go in and get a shot, and then 3 weeks later you go back and get your second shot. I have not been able to do that. Obviously, I'm not old enough. I tried to sneak in and they kicked me out when I was taking my dad. I did get my father vaccinated last week. So he had his first, 2 weeks ago, 2 Saturdays ago. He had his first vaccination. There was no issues with it at all. He didn't complain about any soreness in his arm or any of those type of things. So I'm encouraging everybody who can, who's over the age of 65, to go out and get their vaccinations. I understand today that they put out, the government put out some expanded regulations, and supposedly what I'm understanding is that CVS and Walgreens are supposedly involved in vaccination distribution. So I would suggest that people go online. You can even call CVS and Walgreens to see exactly how to go about getting the vaccinations, but I believe that they're going to lower or get rid of the age requirements and start vaccinating people who wish to get vaccinated. But either way, I'm encouraging everyone to go out and do that. The faster we get people vaccinated, the more likely it is that we're going to be able to get through this pandemic without any more losses. Just for continuity, or not continuity, but as a reference, there are about 3,000 people a day that are dying from COVID. And that has been going on since we've got into 2021. So we're already 34 days into 2021. If you do the math on that, 34 times 3,000, that is a whole bunch of people. And so we've got to, although our the outcome, the hospitalizations and those other things are going down, seems like the ICU numbers are going down as well. We still have a lot of people who are being negatively impacted, resulting in death from acquiring this virus moving forward. And then also remember, there are a couple of variations. The virus has mutated. There's what they're calling the South African strand, the Brazilian strand, and there's one other strand that's in there also, which is a mutation of the original virus that we were being infected with here in the United States. So I see the G Mill is on. What's happening, G. Douglas?
Oh man, just trying to be beautiful. Life's throwing them curveballs, and I'm trying to stay out the way. You get hit in the head, you get knocked out.
Yeah, keep your weight back. Keep your weight back. Get your lead foot down early, and then that way you can adjust to the ball as it adjusts coming at
It
you. So
was
that
a
you can
metaphor.
and try to hit it in the right field.
It was a
talking about. I got you.
metaphor.
I'm giving you another metaphor. Hit it in the
No,
right
you're
field.
giving me instructions on how to complete the play. That's not what I was saying. I was just saying a metaphor. I don't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can't pull it. Got to hit it in the right field.
Yeah.
So anyhow, what's going on with you?
Oh man, I'm just, living life, loving life, trying to stay ahead of the game, Yeah, I know, if
So
one foot in front of the other, turn, lean into the curve. I know, it's just a metaphor. It's just a metaphor.
that
Just trying to
reaction
stay
was
ahead
a
of the game,
metaphor.
bro. That's about it. What's going on with you? And happy birthday.
Thank
Did
you.
you do anything special for your birthday today?
Yeah, serve the community. I've been in
That ain't
meetings
nothing
since
special.
2:30 today. So, responsibilities never take a day off. I've been able to enjoy. I'm enjoying it now. I'll enjoy it this weekend when my Buccaneers beat the shit out the Chiefs for our second Super Bowl win. It's all good, man. It's all relevant. People don't realize this, and I didn't realize this until a few years ago, that I and the Super Bowl are the same exact age. I'm turning 55 today, and this will be the 55th Super Bowl on Sunday. So I always have that in my back pocket moving forward. And so I'm looking forward to having a great 55th birthday celebration on Sunday when my Buccaneers prevail.
Here's a joke for you. Where are your Buccaneers?
Under my bucking hat.
There you go. Yes, indeed, he said the needy.
I done heard that a couple different times. So what's
But
going on?
not today.
What's on your agenda, man? What you want to talk about?
I want to talk about all these people out here having these breakdowns, and I had a couple different people come up to me at the job house asking me my opinion on some different issues as it pertains to what happened at the Capitol. Do I think that that we're gonna be able to hold on as a country? Just some things of that nature. So
And what was your response to
why
him?
do you think that everybody is having such a hard time and the nervous issue with what's going on in the world?
Because
I'm
things are
not getting
changing.
it. Hmm?
You've said that numerous times. Things are changing, and people don't adjust. People don't do well with change.
So what's going to
And
happen to those people? Are they going to start jumping out of buildings, committing suicide? Because
they
it's going to
might.
get worse before it get better.
They might. That may be a reality for lots of people. If you know anything about history, when we had when the stock market crashed in the 20s, late 20s, the roaring 20s, when that thing crashed, there was lots of suicides. People not understanding or not knowing or hadn't prepared themselves for a downturn. Um, you know, I can't help them. I can't relate to that. Um, most ethnic communities, most ethnic people of ethnic origins understand what it is to struggle. They understand what it is to do and be able to make ends meet when it becomes lean times. And so, have you ever noticed that when people talk about the great stock market crash in the 1920s, that they don't really ever tell you, they don't use, in particular, it was black folks then, more so than anybody, but they don't really talk about the black folks and their experiences in the great stock market crash. Have you ever noticed
Because you
that?
were irrelevant. You were irrelevant. Yeah, I noticed that.
But
They
whether
didn't
it's,
care what you were doing.
I hear what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, even in our relevant corners within inside of our African American history, African people's history, people don't talk harshly about what happens with the crash of the stock market. They were just it was just a downturn, and people were able to get through it, maneuver, make whatever cuts they needed to do as far as their living arrangements and their circumstances, and be able to get through it. And I hadn't really thought about that until just recently. That when you start talking about American history and what the historians tell you are these significant events in history, there is totally two different reactions to it, and we usually get the whitewashed reaction to the way that those situations are going through it. But I think that ethnic people right now are struggling, but they've been struggling for so long that they're comfortable with it and they're able to get through it.
How do you think they're struggling?
Um, they can't depend on their previous streams of revenues. They're having to rob Paul to pay Peter. It's lots of different things out there. I'm getting the feedback again. Are you doing something with your computer?
Yeah, let me see if it's on. Oh yeah, it's up there. Hold on. Okay.
So
it should be gone now.
Yeah, I don't hear it anymore.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't have any evidence, empirical evidence for this law. It's just a feeling and it's a gut reaction. And it's my own eyeball witnessing of the way that things are happening right now, is that everybody is struggling, but the only people who are really, really, really squawking and balking about it is our Caucasian brothers and sisters and the wealthy.
Yeah, because that's it ain't a struggle unless you're struggling. Black folks ain't struggling. They've been struggling. It ain't nothing new. So, now, those black folks that you see that are having a hard time with it, them the ones that follow them white folks, them Europeans, into them, into them caves and into them dens, and want to live like them and think that somebody is doing something unjustly to them. Ain't nobody doing nothing to y'all. You put your own boots on and follow your own path. Now you got problems. I get it.
It's just an observation on my part. Like I said, it's not based in any particular references or anything that I really research at all. It's just a matter of as I go back through and think about the different times that we've had these downturns in our economy, ethnic people. Well, that's not true, because the one that happened with Bush Jr. that Obama helped us get out of, that impacted ethnic people because a lot of the ethnic people were losing their homes. So there was an attack on the wealth, what we perceived as developing wealth within inside of our ethnic communities. But in the roaring 20s, when the stock market crashed, Harlem was that was the Harlem Renaissance time. That's when Harlem was booming and busting, and so I have to go back in and take a look and do some more research on it.
And that pertains to the question that I asked you last week about do you think that Black people are going to start catching hell again in the ways of Caucasians lashing out and starting to try and dominate or bring ill will to Black people, to African Americans? And in my opinion, yes, and that's why you should ramp yourself up to live better, to live longer, to live a more understanding life. Be prepared.
I don't agree with that necessarily wholeheartedly. I think that there is a number of different targets for the traditional, what you would call the European outlash, outpouring or backlash or lashing out. There's a couple different targets. It's no longer just the Black folks. You've got the LGBT community that they're lashing out at. You've got the Latino community, which is a growing number of people. Here locally in Fresno area, you got them lashing out at the Hmong population. And so it's not a matter of just the Black and white, a Black or white power base lashing out at the Black inferior base. There's lots of different communities, ethnic and social, that are now receiving the brunt of this. And I don't think that the white America, that the one percenters is ready for that fight. And I'm not saying that they're not going to continue to fight and they're not going to ramp up their game. I just don't see them being successful. So I mean, when it was all black and white, it was simple. You knew who your adversary was. You knew the white folks, the power folks knew who to target and go after. Those who were that were receiving that knew how to fight against it. But now there is multiple aspects of what's going on. The thing that's going to happen, well, you know where the major backlash is going to come from? And we've been seeing this in Fresno for numerous years. It's going to be from our Caucasian brothers and sisters who, when they come to the awakening, that they are not operating in their best interest. The people that they profess to support and that they have ideological and political alignment with is not serving in their best interest. That's where the biggest issue is going to come. It's a matter of waking up one morning and finding out that what you've lived, the life that you've lived, is not actually the way it is. That's where I think the biggest struggle and the biggest epiphany is going to come from.
Oh, I wholeheartedly disagree. They've been fighting. They've been setting black folks up and setting them on fire and hanging them from trees and doing all this stuff for a long time. It's easy fruit and easy pickings. I ain't seen the police running around shooting Hispanic people or LGBTQ, not to be disrespectful, but that population, it always seems to be the African Americans that they go out and spew their venom toward.
When you talk about police shootings,
the folks that vote against their own interests and best interests, like the old Chris Rock joke, don't none of them want to switch places with him, and he rich. So that's not. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy that one. You can't sell that one.
I'm not trying to sell it. That is.
I'm not buying that one.
That's not based on Darren Miller's observations, Darren Miller's opinion. That is what's in life. You just have.
So when was the last time in light that you heard of the police going out shooting a Hmong person or an LGBTQ person?
I haven't really. I haven't.
Okay.
Hispanic,
Latinos, so then
yes.
What would give you your stats and statistics to say that the police and the common person is going out there attacking those? I'm not saying that they're not in our communities, but are attacking those communities.
Well, you as you say, you switched it on me.
No, I ain't switched it on you.
You're talking about police.
You said I said that African Americans are going to catch the brunt of white folks and Europeans' hell because of the way that things are. You brought in LGBTQ people and Southeast Asian folks. So then, correct. When I ask you to justify it, you said it's not based on Darren Miller's opinion; it's based on facts. So correct. Give me the facts.
But you left out one particular comment now when you talked about police shootings. I didn't say anything about police. You brought
okay.
So talking about police shootings,
then I'll restate it so that everybody is. I'll restate it so that everybody is clear. Mm-hmm. Give me an instance when the police have the last time, or an instance where they've been shooting the LGBT community or the Southeast Asian community. Now you have two questions on the table. You can answer.
I don't know. I can't give you any evidence or any examples that I know of about police shootings involving LGBT or Hmong community.
Okay, so let's ramp it down a little then. When was the last time you heard about either one of those populations catching hell from white folks?
Oh, LGBT. They're dragging. They've drug a two that I know of, transgender individuals were hooked up behind vehicles and dragged. One was in Colorado, and I might be wrong on this one, but I believe the other one was in Texas.
And when did this happen, and what was the ethnicity of these folks?
I don't know the ethnicity, but this is in the last 5 or 6 years. Okay, so the LGBT community in particular is catching a lot of hell from our Caucasian brothers and sisters, our white nationalist brothers and sisters. Yes, Hmong I don't know of any incidents that I can speak to directly about the Hmong community, but what I can tell you is on national statistics that there are more, in numbers, there are more Latinos who are being shot and killed by police than African Americans. The percentage of African Americans is higher, but the actual raw numbers of Latinos being killed by police is higher. So we got two different conversations going on right now. So when we talk about, think about what we got going on right now with it's not called outlash, but the lashing out of our Caucasian white supremacy, I forget what your other term is, brothers and sisters. Who are they lashing out at now?
Always black people.
Dude, what happened in the Capitol wasn't directed at black folks specifically. The people who stormed the Capitol 3 weeks ago was not specifically targeted at black folks. They was going after Nancy Pelosi. They was going after Chuck Schumer. They were going after the Pence, the vice president. They were going after AOC. Those are the people that they were specifically targeting. So that wasn't a matter of a white mob going after black folks. You still there?
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Specifically, the only black person that I know, well, actually, I take that back. Two black people that I know of in these conversations of people that are coming out, that they were going after James Clyburn and they were going after Maxine Waters. Those are only two black people that I know of specifically, that there are comments that have come out from videotapes and social media posts, those type of things. There were only two black people that they were specifically asking for or going after. Those two black folks.
Okay.
So what else was on your mind?
Oh, that was it. Just, those types of things. I had a real interesting conversation about school, and I think people are too involved in their Fox News, because I get a lot of rhetoric from people in Fox News when I start bringing up a school issue and my opinion on that the kids shouldn't be in school at all. They start telling me about socialization and everything around the fact that it's a money issue for these folks, and it's coming straight from the underbellies of them being in school.
Please define again why you believe this kid should not be in school.
Because of the stresses and strains that it's putting on family units. You just told me and said, verified in your own way, that people don't have the economic structure to be having these children online and doing these and that, these types of things and those types of things, going up to use hotspots at Taco Bell's and Lowe's and Home Depots and places like that. When it's just an added stress, they're worried about these kids, the socialization and the stress of these kids not being able to be with their friends and those types of things. I think it's BS.
So why not send them back to their actual school structures? Get rid of the online stresses that are brought up because of the weak Wi-Fi or the absence of a Wi-Fi accessibility. Why not develop a system where they can go back to their regular school setting?
Because socialization in large settings like that brings about an heightened likelihood that these folks will be infected and take it home to their parents and to their caregivers and keepers.
So why not develop a structure or a system within inside of them going, the students going to school every day, or on a 3-day cycle of a week, where they're there in school 3 days a week in a smaller class setting, a dozen, maybe 15 kids per every teacher, and create a different scenario or a different setting for the educational process to go through.
Okay.
Because there is no substitute for the ABCs. Well, that's not true, because kids can learn ABCs and 1, 2, 3s at home. There is no substitute for the social norms and the social rules that kids learn and acquire by being in school. How to share, how to line up, how to be respectful to adults that are not your mother and father or your caregiver, how to interact in a team setting. There is no substitute. That we don't have any substitute in society for those types of lessons. Okay, so think about this. Think about all the lessons that we learn by being athletes. How do you substitute that if a kid is not in a school setting?
That's what a family structure is for, to teach you all of these types of things.
But dude, we grew up in a we were very blessed to grow up in the family structure that we had. You know as well as I do that most African Americans, in particular, most Black kids are not being raised in the same type of setting in which you and I were. So, even our
Okay,
parents.
I get that. And
So how does a kid that did not have the benefits that you and I had, how do they learn those societal lessons about teamwork, working together and cooperatively, winning and losing, and all those type of things? Where are they supposed to get that if it's not through a school setting?
so for you, what you're saying is that it's more, in your opinion, it's more advantageous to send these kids to school than it is to worry about the repercussions of the people that are in their homes at home getting sick. It's more advantageous to send them to school and deal with the issues of the failing grades, the missed assignments, and all of that stuff over um, uh, actually sitting these kids or having them be at home. I understand nothing is perfect. Okay. These kids are at home with parents who don't really care for them. In Caucasians, battles and struggles with kids, they want their kids at home so that they can go to work. Want their kids to go back to school so that they can go to work and provide for their kids. It's a total change in the structure of things. Yeah, I'm lucky enough to be able to have a structure where I can change to have my children around or with me. Yes. So that is the way things happen. Some days you're gonna get sugar, some days you're gonna get shit, but you got to deal with them the way you deal with them. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, so here's a specific question. The lessons that kids learn by being in a school system or school structure where they're actually going to school, not this online
Well,
crap.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
How do you substitute those lessons that kids learn from going to a schoolhouse on a daily basis? Where do our kids get those lessons reinforced?
They would get them reinforced in society, and you act as if they would never be going back to school.
No. I didn't say that. I'm talking about now. I'm talking about now.
Right. And I'm
You
saying
you
they
said the
don't.
kids.
Okay. So for a point of time, they would be socialized at home in a different setting. They would be socialized at home with their parents. They would be socialized at home with their brothers and sisters. They would be socialized a different way. Just like you said, there's different structures for different things. They would not, if it were my opinion, they wouldn't be going to school. The reason
Okay, so
most of these folks want these kids in school are for two reasons. One is economic reasons, and two is because school is a built-in babysitter.
Gerald, I agree with the second one, but the first one is a moot point. The state of California has already said that they will.
Darren, you're starting your conversation in the middle of getting things fixed. Now it's a moot point as of last week or the week before, but it wasn't before. They were losing money because these kids weren't in school. So they
That's
said,
not
okay,
true,
we have to
Gerald.
do something to
Gerald,
change the
that is not
structure. So
true.
what we're going to do to change the structure is we'll give you the same incentive as that we had last time. We'll move the goalpost and say, we'll pay you for these kids so you won't lose out on your educational model.
This is the second school year in a row that the state of California has said that they will subsidize schools at the same money rates as they had in 2019, 2020.
Why would they do that?
So that the school districts don't have to worry about getting kids to come to school to earn their money.
So then why is it an issue then for the kids to go to school if that's the case?
It's about safety. It's about safety and the contraction of the coronavirus. I just got some information right now. There's a news
Slow down.
report.
So when you say it's about safety, the safety of sending the kids back to school or not sending the kids back to school?
The safety has nothing to do with whether they're there or not. The safety has to do with the kids contracting the coronavirus, teachers contracting the coronavirus. That's the safety issue I'm talking about. So anyway, I just got to notice Fresno County schools, the schools in Fresno County are now eligible or will be very soon eligible for their elementary age students to return to school. Like 5 minutes ago, I just got a notice about that.
And what were the conditions that they needed to meet for them to do that?
All has to do with
the color coding, which Gavin Newsom has reduced and sent all these folks back because he's looking at a recall and said, we want to send our kids back to school. Oh, okay, we better send these kids back to school or I'm gonna get recalled. What else can I do to stop from getting recalled? It's all political. You asked me, it's a specific. What would I do? I would keep the kids at home. Plain and simple.
So
you have your reasons. I have my reasons.
You never answered my question. How then do you substitute? Do you replace?
I don't have to. You don't. How's that? Is that an answer good enough for you?
No, that's not.
Because I thought I said that you would do it through social programs at home and different things like that. But that's not what you wanted to hear. So we're going to say, no, then we won't. We'll just say we won't. We'll just keep them at home.
That is the most ludicrous comment I've ever heard in my life.
Okay, that's fine.
Because I'm asking you, you said that you want to keep kids at home. I accept that.
Right.
But in addition to that, how are you going to substitute the socialization and all those elements that goes along with a kid being in a school setting by them being at home?
Why does your statement of saying that a child has to be or needs to be in school more relevant than my statement?
Because kids today they learn more lessons about life, about being people, about how to interact in society in school than they do at home.
And why is that a fact?
Because our system is fucked up. Okay, is that what you want me to say? Our school systems, our public school systems right now.
No, I want you to what I want you to say. I want you to say that it's that way because the kids are in school. And because now there's a threat to not have the kids in school, people such as yourself are now bitching, moaning, and complaining because things are changing, like you said at the beginning of the program. I want my kids to go back to school. My kids should be in school. How are they going to socialize? How do they socialize anyway? They socialize with adults. Then adults would teach the children how to be adults.
Bullshit, Gerald.
Now, yes,
Bullshit, Gerald.
not everybody was fortunate enough to have two parents like we were. Yeah, I understand that. But the
Gerald,
one
that's
parent
bullshit.
that is doing
Even
the best that they can does the best that they can. Everybody, it's not a popsicle structured world. Okay.
Even in the family structure that we grew up in, I spent more time outside of our family structure learning do's, don'ts, good, bads, and otherwise than I did with my mother and father.
That's you, Darren. That's you. Just like you said earlier, everybody is not you, and not everybody does things the same. Let's have a little variation in our lives. Some people do things some way so that they can prosper in this vein over here. And some like learning. Some people are visual learners, so let's show them what to do. Some people can read a book and understand, so let's get them into these types of situations. Everybody's different, my brother.
I agree with you.
Different. So you have to meet people. You have to meet people where they are.
I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you that everybody has a variation. But what I'm trying to get you to understand that the variation that we came up in is the top end. It's not the middle, and it's not the bottom. The variation that we grew up in, the system and the structure in which Harry and Bessie provided for us, was the top end of that variant. My concern is those that are below us. So think about this, and no disrespect to the neighborhood I grew up in. How many people did we grow up in Butler Park that had their birth fathers in their homes? Have you ever thought about that?
Yes, I have thought about that.
You and I will agree that.
Let me ask you this question: just because their birth fathers were not in their home, does that make it right or wrong, or does it make it? I mean, I don't.
It's not a matter of right or wrong. It's a matter. You and I have talked about this before.
It's a matter of what? What's it a matter of? What's it a matter of then?
Best versus not best. The best.
So when you have because my children were fortunate enough to be raised in a house with their father. I don't know how many other children besides myself and my dad would be in that line or lineage. So I'm a rarity, and I'm happy to be a rarity. So I have to understand that because I'm a rarity, that everybody is not like me. So I do give those allowances, but that doesn't make it negative. That doesn't make it bad. That just makes it something that people have to overcome.
Negative. I didn't say it was negative. I'm saying that when we talk about, talked about relativity. So you talked about a range. You talked about a variance. Okay, a variance. When you talk about a variance, there's a top and there's a bottom. The system in the society that the Miller boys have grown up in has been towards the top, not towards the bottom. Okay, that's the reference point that I'm using. My concern is what about all of those other folks that are in this reference, that are in this matrix, that are below us, didn't have the same opportunities that you and I and our children have been able to have? Where do they get that socialization? Where do they get that need filled if schools are closed?
They get it from their peer groups in their homes. They get it from their peer groups outside of their homes.
I agree with you.
Socialization doesn't stop because you're not in school.
Who are their peer groups? Who are their peer groups that they're going to get it from? It's not their peer groups that's going to be at school because they're not there. So what are the other peer groups that are available for them to be able to get those types of things from?
Neighbors, neighborhood socialization people.
Could be. Who else? Gangs.
Churches.
Gangs. drug
Okay, gangs.
dealers,
Okay, all right. So,
pimps,
so when you
hobos.
send kids back, so when you kids send kids back to school, the gangs are gonna stop.
No, no. You're
So when you send kids back to school, you have a more, you have a better opportunity of meeting these folks that you are say are in gangs, are in the gangs, because everybody's gonna go to school at that age. Where are you going with this?
I'm trying to. I acknowledge what you're saying, but I
No,
also
you're not
acknowledge the.
acknowledging what I'm saying.
But what you're
What you're
saying
trying
is
to
very,
say
very
is
limited.
that rah 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 school school school.
If a
No, no,
kid is
bro,
not in
no,
school, you,
no,
as you said,
absolutely not.
a kid is going to get what they need socially from somewhere. They're going to get it somewhere, somehow. I am saying that the best place for them to get it, and we agree on this, is in the home. It's from whatever their home structure is. That's the best place for them to get it. I believe that the next best place, the second best place to get that is from school. That's where the next best
Okay,
place is. That's what I agree. What you're saying is the
okay,
kids should not be in school. So what I'm trying to get
right.
an understanding of is an absence of that, what I believe is the second best environment, where are they going to get those needs met?
They don't. Okay. We went around and around and around with that, and I'm saying the reason that they don't need to be in school, for one, is because of the threat, like you said earlier, of the health concerns that go on with these kids being going to a group setting in a pandemic with older grandparents that are watching them, with older aunts and uncles and home people that are in their homes watching them, that could drag the virus back to these older people, get them sick, and the people can pass away. That's number two. Uh, Also, the stresses that are involved in the homeschooling situation, of Wi-Fi and of incomplete homework assignments and being dropped from classes and teachers that are not caring. That's a third reason, and the stresses that go on in those home structures. That's a third reason why I don't think that these folks really, or these children really, need to be back in school. The socialization, okay, they could get socialized.
But what you're saying,
12 months late, 12 months later, they could be socialized. Okay.
I agree with you. You're saying that the best scenario that they should not be in is this virtual learning environment. I agree with you. But in absence of that, let's put them back in school. Let's have them go back to their school campuses on some type of, if it needs to be a modified schedule, whether they're only 3 days a week or 4 days a week or whatever, if they're there for a shorter period of time, 7 days a week. They need to be, our kids need to be back in school
No,
to be
our
able
kids do not need to be back in school. My opinion is our kids do not need to be back in school.
to. Okay.
Let them take a year off, get this pandemic under control. Let's figure out a solution after the year, and see how it goes.
So then
That's my button on school.
how do you relevate, not relevate, that's the wrong word. How do you reconcile kids being out of an educational setting for a year?
Just keep. We've been. That's what I've been trying to tell you. I've been giving you answer after answer after answer after answer, and you're not accepting of it. You said that my ideas and my understanding are ludicrous to you, and it's the craziest thing that you've ever heard. So obviously, I'm talking at a level in which you can't understand.
So
So
that's why I
we're
keep
gonna
asking you
leave that
questions.
right there. We're gonna
So
we're
that's
gonna
why I keep
leave that
asking you
right there.
questions. So what you want to,
Right,
what you're
because you don't
proposing is,
understand.
so what you're proposing, man.
Because you don't understand, and because you don't understand, it's incorrect.
It's
So
not a
so
matter
we're
of
gonna leave
incorrect.
that
I'm
right there.
trying to get understanding by asking you these questions. So what you're
You
proposing,
can't get the understanding. If I'm telling you that 2 and 2 is 4, and you're gonna argue with me that it's not, that 3 and 1 is 4, you're not gonna get the understanding. So we're gonna leave that right there. Do you understand why I'm saying, or what I'm saying? Not the reasoning behind, or the way it all fits together. I just need to make sure that you're clear on the understanding that Gerald believes that they should not go to school for those reasons.
That's Gerald's opinion, but Gerald's opinion.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said. It's Gerald's opinion, and Gerald believes that, and that's what Gerald is stating, and that's what Gerald is standing behind.
Okay.
Daren's opinion is that kids should go to school so that they can be socialized. I get it. I understand. We just have two differences of opinions on school. Yes.
I mean, if we're going to do all opinions, I don't want to share my opinion. I want to be able to share things that are based and grounded in research and facts and evidence. I don't want to give people just my bare opinion, because as I tell people all the time, my opinion is like assholes. We all have them and they all stink. Okay, so that's why I try not to share with you my opinion. I try to give you insight based on factual things or data or something else that supports it. Doesn't make it right or wrong.
So the factual statement, the factual statement are that, from what I see, the facts of my children and other people that I talk to, that their children are having a hard time and struggling in school right now because of the things that I've stated to you. And those are factual statements based on conversations that I've had with the populace about kids being in school, about kids doing homework in school, about people having Wi-Fi issues with school, about people dragging teachers going to school on the news and getting sick because they're in schools teaching, teachers refusing to go back to school because they don't want to get sick. So fuck your socialization. Those are the facts. Now, your facts might be that kids need to go back and they need to be socialized and they need to do this and they need to do that. Okay, that's fine. Now you have a set of facts and I have a set of facts. Yes.
I mean, I don't know how to proceed, dude.
Of course you don't.
Okay.
Because you are up against someone who has a set of circumstances, facts, opinions that are different than yours, and you can't bend to understand that your opinion is not the only opinion in the world that matters.
I'm not offering you opinions.
I'm offering you facts also. Okay, so the facts that I put forth in front of you, you're not willing to accept because you believe that your facts are more outstanding than my facts. So I get it. I get it.
You said that teachers are not going back to schools because they're concerned with getting sick.
Correct.
Where?
All across the country. In school districts all across the country.
That is not.
It's on the news. It's on the news every day.
Okay. Are you talking about Chicago and the teachers union who is fighting for the teachers not to go back to schools? Is that who you're referring to?
There's been several different, I can't tell you exactly, but there's been 8 or 9 different school stories of teachers that are dying every day of COVID from being exposed to schools. In Atlanta, I was listening to a program that was talking about how the bus drivers in Atlanta, the school bus drivers, do not want to drive the buses because they've been exposed to sick kids, and 2 of them have passed. I believe 2 of them have passed, and they don't want to drive the buses.
And also the Atlanta School District is also under a lawsuit right now, or I don't know if it's a lawsuit yet, but they are also going to be facing a lawsuit because they were not even following their own state guidelines, their county guidelines. They had school campuses in Atlanta that were allowing kids to go in large group settings and all those other type of things. So there's a whole bunch, there's a whole nother dynamic that's going along with that. So
Okay, the facts remain that these bus drivers and teachers don't want to go into the classroom, and that's what the issue was. In fact, that's what in your the factual issues are.
okay, so Fresno County, as I just shared with you, 10 minutes, 15 minutes ago, just made an announcement that the schools in Fresno County, grades kindergarten, it didn't say grades, elementary, will be able to go back to school. You're saying that's not a good thing?
That's correct.
Okay. Okie dokie.
You're lost for words.
I'm not at a loss for words. I'm not sure what direction to go in next.
Okay, we'll change the subject.
Two?
Oh, I don't know. What's bothering you? It's your birthday. Aren't you happy today?
I'm always happy. I'm happy every day. I'm happy
Very
that
good.
God has blessed me with 55 years, correct, true. But I'm also concerned with a lot of things also. Concerned with I'm concerned with how people view what we're going through right now. And maybe that's my own issues that I need to resolve, but I'm very, very, very concerned about how people perceive what it is that we're going through right now.
And what are we going through right now?
Change, unpredictability, uncertainty. We got to be approaching 500,000 people that dead Americans based on a COVID virus, that people are just waking up every day that it's like it's normal. What as a society has dampened us so to get to this point? That's the stuff that I think about, which bothers me on a daily basis. And as I have more conversations, like the conversation we're having tonight, and conversations I have with others, it concerns me.
Okay, I get it.
So I'm good for this evening. I'm ready to go celebrate my birthday. The last few hours I got. So anyway, people remember COVID testing Wednesdays and Saturdays at Fresno County. at the fairgrounds on Chan Street. No appointment needed to be tested. Those of you who are 65 and older in Fresno County, you need to go through the Fresno County Health Department. You can schedule yourself to get a vaccine. There's additional information that's going to be coming out, which I don't have all the details right now, detailed information, but I know that CVS and I believe it's Walgreens are also going to be involved in the ramped up distribution of the coronavirus vaccine.
Yeah,
So
somebody called me and contacted me today and wanted to know more information. And you don't have that, correct, right now?
I don't, not in detail. I just know that there is some conversations about CVS, and I know CVS for sure is going to be involved in it, and I think it's Walgreens is the other one, national pharmacies here in California who are going to be utilized to do the coronavirus. But I don't have detailed information that I'm confident in sharing.
Okay.
So that's
all righty. Well, enjoy your birthday today and your last hours that you have left. And I don't stress so much over people's differences of opinions. There's a lot of folks out there that have, like you said, have been raised different than you and I. We differences of opinions, differences of understandings, and that's what makes the world go round, because of the differences. It is the way of the world. Somebody told me this week that half of the world's population will be dead. in 2025. So with that in mind, live each and every day like it's your last. People are going to do what they want to do because they are grown and they have the ability to do it. God played a trick on everybody and gave them the ability to reason and make their own decisions. Isn't that wonderful? And always love, peace, and hair grease.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next Wednesday, 8 o'clock. In touch with the Miller Boys, and we will see you then. Peace.